Hi, I'm Nancy from the Survey de Idiomas at the FUP, University Manresa. We're still in quarantine. I have no idea which week it is. And fortunately, our students can continue their studies in foreign languages. Our teachers are posting activities, explanations, and exercises on their virtual classrooms, and they're also conducting class through video conferences. Now, people learn languages in different ways. I have heard people say that they've learned a language by watching television series in the original version. And I have a friend who swears he learned English through learning the lyrics of Beatles songs, which is great, but it's not for everybody. So I'd like to talk a little bit about how the FOOP approaches language learning. Okay, first of all, you have to be very clear about your goals, your objectives, and expectations at each level. For that, we look at the Common European Framework of Reference, the CEFR, and their can-do statements and the things that we should be able to do with a language at certain levels. For example, everybody wants to understand a native speaker when they speak. However, we do have to be realistic. At A1 and A2, the CEFR says that a student of that language should be able to understand a native speaker, but only if that person speaks slowly and clearly and uses different strategies to help the learner understand the message. At B1 and B2, the student should be able to understand quite a bit more of a native speaker's message, both the general ideas and details. And then at C1 and C2 levels, they should understand virtually everything and maybe even detect some attitude or feelings about a topic depending on the grammar and vocabulary that they use. As far as speaking is concerned, at A1 and A2 levels, a student can express factual information, that personal information, and talk about some very basic topics. Whereas at B1 and B2, you can talk about a wider range of topics, topics that are familiar to you or that you have a special interest in. And then at C1 and C2, you should be able to talk about everything. Okay. Two of the skills that probably are the most challenging to practice at home are probably listening comprehension and speaking. But there are things that we can do. Again, at A1 and A2, you can watch a video, but you have to be very selective about which video you want to watch. For example, when I came here, I didn't really speak Spanish or Catalan, and I made the mistake of going to see Pepe Rubianes perform live in a theater. And do you know what I understood from that performance? This. With some naughty words thrown in there. So A1 and A2 students shouldn't be watching the Pepe Rubianes of Germany or of Japan. Again, you can understand things if they're clear and slow. So what you might want to do is to watch the news or a documentary. With B1 and B2 students, you can watch a wider range of short videos or television series. But again, you want to be a bit selective. For example, I'm American and I saw The Matrix Part 3 in English and I didn't understand anything. So you can only imagine if you're a student of English watching that film. Okay, and then C1 and C2 students can choose really anything. Again, I probably wouldn't watch a film during the weekend. What's probably more useful is to watch shorter videos throughout the week because you don't get so tired and and it's like training for a marathon. You don't want to put all your training in on one day. You want to do a little bit each day during the week. Okay, so what are some topics that you can choose to watch videos on? Well, what topic could be more perfect right now than the coronavirus? So if you're an A1 or A2 student, you can try to watch the news, say in German or Russian or English or Japanese or Italian, and see if you can understand some basic vocabulary like nurse or doctor or illness or the numbers. That's really good practice. And if you're at the B1 or B2 level, you can watch the news about the coronavirus and just kind of see how you can compare the information from that country, pardon me, with your own country. And then at C1 or C2, you could do a really big challenge and watch 2 different stations from the country and how they report the news on the coronavirus, and just see if you can detect a difference in attitude or even the difference in information, and kind of analyze it to see if they reflect a certain perspective or attitude towards the virus and how, in the way that they report it. Okay, so that should help with your listening comprehension. Speaking can also be quite difficult to practice because when we think about speaking, we normally relate that to interaction with people. But you can still practice speaking skills at home. And one of the easiest things you could do is get your cell phone and record yourself. Now, if you're like me, you really hate recording yourself, and yeah, like I don't want to watch this video when I'm done. But it is good practice when you're studying a foreign language, just to record yourself talking about current events or describing your day or just reflecting on something that happened to you. What you want to do is just practice speaking, and that will help you when you do have to speak in a real life situation. Now, whether or not you choose to listen to the recording is up to you. It's very helpful to listen to yourself because you can hear any kind of pronunciation errors or grammatical errors, or just listen for a moment that perhaps you couldn't remember vocabulary, or there was some vocabulary that you needed, and that's a way of learning as well. But if not, if you don't want to listen to yourself, which I understand, you can just record yourself speaking, and that's your speaking practice. Okay, so for all the language learners out there, we just hope that you can, reach your goals, make sure they're realistic, and don't put too high of an expectation on yourself, because the CEFR does describe what you should be able to do at each level. I hope everybody is well. Thanks to all of our teachers and students out there, and stay safe. Thanks. Bye.